Hello, my name's Rob and I'm one of the head stewards. Welcome to this video for stewards for the Chapel Allerton Festival in September 2021. I'm going to start by giving you all a big thank you. A thank you from the festival committee for giving your time to the festival. Um, it's really lovely to have everyone back this year, even though we're delivering the festival in a slightly different format. Um, it's great to have so many people still willing and able to take part. This short video goes alongside the stewards training video, which you should have received in an email. If you haven't received that, please do drop the head stewards an email and we'll forward that on to you. But please use this video in conjunction with the training manual. As you're aware, for this year, the festival is taking place at Gledhow Sports and Social Club on Gledhow Lane. We're not at Regent Street, so please make sure when you check the time that you've been given for your stewarding slot that you make your way to Gledhow Sports and Social Club. And if you could arrive, please, sort of 10 or 15 minutes before your session, that means that we've got time to give you your tabard, your radio, and to check that you're happy with some of the new procedures that we've got in place. For your information, the festival is on both Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, there are two sessions. So there'll be music from 1 till 4, and then again from 5 till 8. The venue will be open from around midday so that people can come and use the bar, buy food and look at the stalls that are available. So the stewarding slots this year kind of overlap those sessions so that we've got stewards available at all times. There is a map of the festival site in the training manual. For those of you who are not familiar with the site, as you come through the barrier, there's parking straight ahead of you and parking to the right. The public will not be able to park on site. The parking to the right will be for festival stall holders only, and the parking straight ahead will be for the bands that are playing to be able to come and drop off their equipment. We also need to make sure that we keep that entrance clear for any emergency vehicles that hopefully don't need to attend but may need to attend. So part of your role this year for stewarding is going to be sort of managing that car parking area, but people are going to come in through the main entrance and there'll be a steward's tent or a steward's gazebo, and you'll be involved in funneling people through because this year's event is ticketed. The decision was made to ticket the event originally because of COVID, although those restrictions, or many of the restrictions, have now been removed. But for the safety of everyone and to make sure that we have enough facilities such as toilets and bar staff and those types of things, we have kept the numbers reduced. The festival has sold out, so there will not be any tickets available on the door, although I'll come to some exclusions to that shortly. So people will arrive at the festival with their ticket on either a mobile device, it's usually a QR code, or they might have printed off their tickets. Stewards will be using a scanner, a handheld scanner, that they will use to beep, and that will make sure that we know that that person has a valid ticket. I haven't got a scanner here to show you, so when you arrive for your stewarding session, we will make sure that you are comfortable with what you need to do. We will probably need stewards to encourage people to have their barcode scanners, phones or printouts ready so that we can get people through the gates in a fairly timely manner. As I've said, there is no parking for guests coming to the festival on site, and they should be directed to park courteously on the streets that surround the Sports and Social Club. It's really important that you are the face of the festival when people arrive, and that we are happy and smiling and welcoming people onto the venue. Because there are tickets, as people come in, there won't be any collection buckets this year as people come in. There will be some as people leave, but that will feel different to what we've done before. We've been trying to sort of predict some of the potential problems that might arise on the gate, so that you feel supported and empowered to make some decisions. But you will have a walkie-talkie, and the head stewards will be close by. So by all means, radio for some support if you need it. But we're thinking that there's the potential that people could arrive in a group and have no tickets. Unfortunately, they will not be able to come into the festival grounds, and we'll need to turn them away. There will be security at the festival, limited security, but we will be able to call on those. We certainly don't want stewards to feel that they are put in any way at any risk. I think there's a different scenario around, a family arriving and saying we've all got tickets, but my sister or my friends come. Would it be okay for them to come in? The sort of the limit on the number of people who come in has a little bit of flexibility there. So what we would ask is that they would make the donation for the cost of the tickets, which is £6 for adults, and that we would allow them in, but we would need to take details on we'll have a clipboard with some paper where you can take down their name and contact details, which we need for any potential need to contact them around COVID. So that's one of the exceptions. People who are members of Gledhow Sports Club can come onto site for free. So they pay membership to be part of the club. So they should have a membership card. But again, if they don't, I think we don't get into confrontation with people, and we allow them in. We could ask them or encourage them to give a donation towards the music that's being played. But again, we can't force people to do that. In a change to usual, dogs are allowed, but we ask for dogs to be on a short lead and to be well behaved. So dogs are allowed on site. People are encouraged to walk and to bike to the venue. So if somebody brings a bike, they can bring it onto site, but again, we'd ask them to dismount and to push it around the venue. Same for scooters, same for pushchairs. It's a very different kind of venue to Regent Street. It's not the confined nature that we've had before, so we're on a big field, so there is space for that. We are being given the venue for free by Gledhow Sports Club, and they clearly want to make money from the sales at the bar. So we have asked people not to bring their own alcohol. Again, we do not have authority to search anybody or to look in bags, but as a steward, if you could be keen on saying, please don't bring any of your own alcohol. They particularly don't want any glass on site. So if somebody's adamant about bringing some drink that's in a glass bottle, we'll have some plastic cups, pint glasses available for you to be able to decant that in. Again, we're encouraging people to spend money at the bar and to enjoy the festival. But again, I don't feel we should be getting into confrontation with people around bringing alcohol on site or not. The other people who might be arriving at the gate, as I've already mentioned, are going to be the bands. So there are a number of bands playing on both Saturday and Sunday. The Sunday session is one session from 1 till 6 p.m. So that's different to the Saturday. 2 sessions on Saturday, 1 session on the Sunday. The bands will be allowed to come through the barrier and to park. So we, as stewards, will be involved in helping to make sure that they can get through safely. There will be a key for the barrier, and we'll make sure that you know who's got that. In relation to COVID, we will make sure that the walkie-talkies are wiped down with sanitizer before you collect them from us. There'll be sanitizing gel available as people come in should they want to use it. As a steward, it's your choice around using a mask. If you want to, then please do. There'll be track and trace available. It's not a legal requirement anymore, but guests may choose to track and trace if they want to. Around the festival site, it's a big site, but we're expecting there to be signs encouraging people to use all of the available space and not to crowd together. But we are expecting friends and families to come together, to put blankets down, to put picnics out, and people may bring their own chairs, which is absolutely fine. So again, a slightly different feel to what we've had on Regent Street before. So your stewarding session is predominantly going to be on the gate as people arrive. We may need some roving stewards, and you are the eyes and the ears for the festival. We really hope that nothing untoward happens, but we're looking out for suspicious activity, and we're looking out for suspicious packages. And if you look in your manual, you'll see that there is some guidance on what to do should you find anything. We may encourage stewards who are roving around to take a litter picker with them and a bin bag. There's no requirement to do that, but it can sometimes give you something to do as you wander as you wander around and keep your eye out for things. But if that's not your thing, then that's absolutely fine. If any of the guests want to speak to you or put in a complaint, please do ask a head steward to join you, and we can make sure that we deal with that. Again, we have on very odd occasions at Regent Street had complaints from people in the local neighbourhood, for example, perhaps around parking or for noise, and we can make sure that we signpost them to the right person to deal with that. We can't look after anybody's property, so please don't take anything from anybody to look after, and any lost property can be brought to the head stewards so we can try and return it to their owner. In the past, we've had a protocol for a lost child or for a parent who's lost a child. You might remember that we've used the words Finding Nemo and Finding Dory before, but we've often felt that these were perhaps more complicated than they need to be. So if a child or a vulnerable person is found, please use the radio to radio in to let us know that you've found them and bring them to the head steward's tent if possible. And we will then take it from there. Please don't give any details about the child over the radio. Just bring them and let us know that you've found them. There will be first aid on site, and again that will be clearly signposted, and again the barrier will need to be kept clear so that any emergency vehicles can make their way onto the property. As people leave the festival, we do want to encourage people to make a donation towards next year's festival. The festivals don't run on goodwill alone, unfortunately. We would like stewards to be enthusiastic about, calling out that donations for to make next year's festival happen. So we will have the buckets available for people as they leave. Now, specifically for the session on Saturday, guests have bought tickets for either that sort of afternoon session or the evening session, or for both. And the plan is, after the afternoon session, is to ask everyone to leave. Some people may say that they have got tickets for the evening session as well. That's absolutely fine. They can stay in place and we can take a scan around and scan their evening ticket as well. Again, I think if there were people who wanted to stay but hadn't got tickets, depending on how we feel the numbers are, and please have a discussion with the head steward, they may be able to remain, but again, we would ask them to contribute a donation for the cost of the ticket for them to be able to stay. That's a fairly whistle-stop tour of what's in the manual and a small amount of additional information. Probably the last thing for me to mention is around an evacuation plan. We're not expecting to have to evacuate the site, but if we did, stewards would be involved in encouraging people to leave the site and to make their way out onto the pavement away from the venue so that any emergency vehicles could get on. For those of you who know the venue, there's the main entrance, which will be open. There's also a back entrance to the site, which will be locked on Saturday. On Sunday, it may be open for some acts, some artists to be able to come on site, but that's going to be managed specifically by the events team to let those people in and out. So that probably brings me to the end of the presentation of our discussion. If you've got any questions or comments, please do pop them in an email and we'll do our best to get back to you. When you arrive for your first shift, we'll ask you to sign in, and as part of that, you'll be saying that you have both read the manual and watched this training. We really do hope that you have an enjoyable experience both as a volunteer and get some time to enjoy the festival as well. I look forward to seeing some of you at the weekend. Take care.